Hello everyone, welcome to back my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Willow arrives home, calls Drew on her phone, and says there are reporters camped outside and to call her back. Willow then finds a woman's black shoe on the floor. Willow makes her way into the bedroom. Drew is out cold in the bed, and Jacinda, in his dress shirt, says, "Didn't your mother teach you to knock?" Willow states this is her bedroom. Jacinda explains that Drew said she was out of town, and not to be too hard on him, as men often need to let off steam. Jacinda takes off. Willow slams the door, causing Drew to stir awake. He doesn't know what happened. She cries, "Your date just left. I can't believe you do this to me." Willow runs out as Drew screams after her, while grabbing his head in pain. At General Hospital, Kai meets up with Trina, and assumed Drew would be here. Trina guesses that he's not feeling great this morning, especially with what's in the papers. Felicia takes Kai to fill out some paperwork and get him set up. Kai is moved into a room, and Felicia brings up the documentary crew outside his room. Kai explains that Drew wanted to document this for other people and to give them hope, but he thought Drew would be here for this. Felicia says if he needs privacy, she can handle them. Later, Trina arrives and says there is no word on Drew. She asks if he still wants to go on with the documentary. Curtis meets with Laura in her office, and they discuss the news splashed everywhere about Drew. Curtis explains Aurora held back, but will publish a story later, but he didn't want to rile Drew anymore, given their history. They laugh over the fact that even Ezra is distancing himself from Drew, and their Drew problems may be over. Laura says she misses the days when politics was about the issues, but Drew hasn't done anything to improve the lives of any of his constituents. All he's done is fight with people. Curtis says this stunt shows his constituents that Drew is out of control and self-serving. Curtis notes that Kay's surgery is today, so he's going to the hospital to wait with Trina. Curtis says Laura should be in a better position with the referendum, and Drew may be out of Congress very soon. Lulu meets with Alexis in her office and says she'd love to talk to her about adoption for her piece. Alexis says she'll have to reschedule as she needs to protect Scout from her father right now. Lulu feels bad about the story, but others were filming him too. Alexis understands it is her job. Lulu says Drew was very drunk. Alexis calls his behavior out of character. Lulu explains Drew wasn't just tipsy, he was out of control. Alexis says Drew's constituents deserve to know how he really behaves, and she needs to get to Scout. Lulu heads to her mom's office and says her story is going well, but she'd like to interview her mom. Laura was expecting this. Lulu says she is shielding her sources by not using real names. Lulu notes her mom never talks about her adoption. Laura says that's because she wasn't adopted. She was switched in the hospital and had two families. Lulu asks what it was like when Grandma Leslie entered her life. Laura explains she didn't know anything about Leslie, but she felt at the time she had a great connection with this woman who was practically a stranger. Lulu asks if the Vinings saw the connection, and Laura doesn't know. Leslie eventually told her the truth. There was a period when she didn't want to have anything to do with Leslie, as she didn't want to hurt the Vinings. She says she ran away at 14 and joined a convent, and it was Rick and Leslie who found her. Rick made her see that Leslie made all of her choices based on what was best for her daughter. After that, she got to know Leslie, and things improved. Lulu asks if she wonders what it would have been like to never know the truth. Laura says she loved both her mothers, and she couldn't imagine her life without Leslie in it. Laura wonders why this is so important to her, and she gets the idea that this article is more than about other people's experiences. What is going on? At Nina's, Portia and Nina talk about how well their plan worked out. Nina says Willow's plane has landed, and she's going to be devastated over this. Jacinda arrives and explains what happened last night. She staged a scene in Drew's bedroom, spent the night on the couch, but was awake to set a scene when Willow arrived. She slipped out the back to avoid the reporters. Nina gives Jacinda the rest of her pay, and Jacinda is happy to head to Sydney to lay low. However, should anyone find her, she will tell them that Drew solicited her companionship and took her to the Savoy, and then back home to continue the party.